This video is made possible by the following sponsors. Make sure to check out their products as well as the rest of my gear in the description below. Hey guys, slightly higher in my chair because I'm sitting on a cushion boy here, and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for another video. So for a fairly late celebration for my channel hitting 200,000 subscribers, I've decided to take on the hardest and longest track available in sim racing. The track is called the Piccolo Circuit if you look it up on Wikipedia, but you guys will know it by another name, and that is Targa Florio. Targa Florio was a road racing event founded in 1906, with its last race being in 1977. Now, one of the reasons this circuit is so difficult is because of the length, and if you've seen the video length already, you'll be noticing that it's quite a lot longer than usual. This track, this Piccolo Circuit, is 72 kilometers in length, and that's just for one lap. Back in 1973, this car, the 911 RSR 3 litre, completed 11 laps of this circuit as part of the event, and did so in just under 7 hours. Now, I'm not going to be doing 11 laps of this track. In fact, I'm only going to be doing just the one. But here comes confession time. Whilst I have driven around this track before, and it was a number of years ago now, I don't really know where I'm going. So please don't treat this video as like a hot lap extraordinaire. Watch how this man drives around Targa Florio and only dies 5 times. It's more of a B-road Sunday drive fun thing. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. But I should really start my lap if I want to get this video out today. So time to pit myself against the hardest track in sim racing. But just before I do, can I just say how pretty this car is in blue? It's not just me, right? This car is genuinely gorgeous in this color. So here we are then in the pit lane, I guess. I should probably say that I'm using an early alpha version of this circuit, so whilst the trackside details aren't amazing, the track, the thing that I'm actually driving, is pretty much where it should be, and that's the important thing for this video. You'll also notice in the bottom right hand corner of your screen I've put on the Essentials app, which I don't usually have on. The reason why is because it has a fuel gauge on it on the left hand side, and I've done something that I don't usually do for these videos, which is put on fuel usage. So I've filled the car up. I'm interested to see how much of a tank of fuel we get through over the course of this 72 kilometer lap. Right, time to go. Put it in first gear, clutch out, and here we are then for a lap of Targa Florio. Now, I have a good friend, his name is John Baccio. He knows this place like the back of his hand, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't watch a couple of his videos before starting my lap around here, just to get a general lay of the land. Like most circuits, I kind of know the first couple of corners, but after that it gets a little bit hazy. So again, we're going to just be kind of Sunday driving through here, not pushing too hard. There is a massive straight at the end of this circuit where you'll probably get up to the top of 5th gear, but I'm not really too concerned about, saying that, nearly died, not too concerned about hitting a limiter, just about getting around in, well, attempted one piece, I should say. I'm probably going to hit the barrier at some point, because track knowledge is definitely a thing and you need that around here. And bear in mind, this Porsche is not very recoverable. Once you start getting into a slide, the old rear engine just starts to appear, and you end up not really stopping. You tend to go round. But yeah, Targa Florio, the first time I drove this circuit, I think, on a video, was actually for a video like this. It was a Christmas ramble a long time ago. I think I even drove a Porsche as well. I think it's even the same car I drove, the 911 3 litre. Just a nice car to drive, really. It's a nice kind of relaxing car to drive for the most part, anyway. You can see the road snaking there ahead of us. I don't really have a lap time thing up because I don't really think the lap time works around here. If it does, you'll see it when I cross the line at the end of a lap. If not, we can just time it off the video. But of course, this being a manual car, we're having to heel and toe on the way down. I don't really have to do it because I'm not really driving that fast, but I like to keep the practice there and the muscle memory of just shifting down a gear, so you must use the old heel and toe. Easy through there. So why this car? The reason why I picked this car is because, firstly, I like the car. It's a lot of fun. I kind of like this style of car, you know, early to mid-70s, fairly quick. Decent for this kind of video and this kind of track, I think. And also because it won here, as I mentioned earlier, back in '73. I think there's a left-hander coming up somewhere here. Baccio's probably screaming at his screen right now. There's nothing to tell you something's happening. And if you get wrong, like you see that, you just go off into the abyss. And I'm not sure how much of that greenery is solid. And the last thing I want to do is go through the world halfway around the lap. But yeah, I remember we used to. I went through a phase of trying to get quick around here, and then just realised how large this circuit is and the task of it. I mean, the lap time I kind of expect is probably going to be around 40 minutes. So we're talking, you know, 5 or 6 laps on an Nordschleife there, condensed into one lap around here. Can you imagine doing this for 6 hours, 7 hours? Of course, you probably have driver swaps. In fact, you'd have driver swaps. People would share a car. But can you imagine doing this for that period of time? I can't. Don't spin. My goal is to try and get through spinning and hitting the barrier as little as possible. I also have tyre wear on, which again, is not something that I tend to do for these videos, but I think I wanted to have it on to show you how much the car transforms over the course of a lap, you know. For me, stuff like F1 and circuit racing where the lap is about 90 seconds, you can pretty much have a car on full fuel, pretty much, at the end of a lap to see how it behaves. You would not have a car on full fuel at the end of a lap around this circuit. So you have to kind of set the car up for two different parts. So we're coming in now to one of the first villages. It is just, that's houses, of course, but in here it's just blocks of blocks of stone. Not quite as charismatic, I'd say, as the previous version, but I'm told this version is being worked on. There is a Sim Tracks version of this circuit with a bit more detail on it. Don't hit any houses. But the problem with that is they want 30 euros to allow me access to drive a beta, which hasn't been worked on for the last however many years, so I'm probably not going to give them any money. But you see the sensation now of how this would have been in real life, driving through these places at, you know, over 100 miles per hour. People living in those things, watching from their windows or watching from their front doors. And you just drive through it like there's no one there. There is a certain allure to that style of racing, and you understand nowadays why it can't happen. It takes one mistake for a house to be destroyed or someone to be killed, you know, but doesn't mean that it's not a very cool thing to think about. So I'm going to be spending probably most of my time in second, third and fourth around here. Saying that, first hairpin. I remember crashing here first time through. I have a rough idea of where I'm going. There are some corners that I remember, some that I don't. The majority of them I don't remember, as I... that came with good timing, didn't it? That came with good timing. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Obviously, I don't remember anything. That's just so typical. Oh yeah, I know where I'm going. Crash. Headset adjust, why not? I'm taking a bit more of a chill attitude with this video, as you can probably tell. I knew that there's going to be some shenanigans as I make my way around this. It's not really a track that lends itself to a perfect run unless you are literally a AI. But one day, maybe in the future, maybe if I have some time to maybe put in a lap like once a day or something to get used to the track, I would love to try like a 919 Evo lap around here, or a Red Bull X 2010 lap, just to see what would be possible. It would just be it'd be a ridiculous experience, and I'd probably have to do it in VR because, oh god, bonk, just because, so I can look around. You know, get used to what I'm doing and have an idea of what's actually going on the brakes. See, now this car doesn't like when you hit the brakes too hard, then come out off it and try and tip the car in. All the weight then sort of goes to the front of the car and pendulums the rear around, which is why you get the car kind of sliding a bit. I think once you understand that, you understand how to drive this car a bit better. Not that I'm doing much better right now. God, this car sounds good. I love the old Porsches. There's just something about them. You can see why Chris Harris is always pining over them. And also, I mean, like, look at the scenery you have here. It's pretty, you know. Even though a lot of the trackside details aren't there, you're racing through this. This is a race circuit, or was a race circuit. You know, of course, it's just public roads most of the time, but Can you imagine taking a you know, 908 Spider through here, or one of the 512 Ferraris? Like, just what that would be like. I think this thing had an average speed of 110 miles an hour. I think around there. I think that was the lap speed. I'll have to look that up for confirmation, but I think it was around there. Which is crazy. I can't even imagine that. How would you do that? You'd have to be actually competent. It might be in kilometers though, but still, fast enough. What a noise. You have to be careful though, because if you get a bit too enthusiastic, a barrier comes up like that, and you end up a little bit sad. So, I've not really written down things to talk about. Usually when I do a long video like this, off I go again. That's number 2. Usually when I do a long video like this, I kind of write down a list of topics to go through, but I don't really have any, so it's going to be ad lib, so it might be a little bit rambly. Hopefully not. Oh yes, I just love smashing the throttle out on the exit on these things, just having the rear tyres light up just for a second, then grip to make you feel like you're really cool and really badass. Of course, more power, you just go flying off into the fields like I have done twice already, but I'm going to try and avoid that as much as I can. Don't go off now, you said that, Jimmy, for God's sake. But yeah, 200k subscribers, or 207k now at the time of recording this video, which is just crazy, really. I get a lot of people asking me, like, Jimmy, how do you feel now that you've got this sim racing channel that has 207k subscribers? It's kind of unprecedented, and I mean, I guess it is, but I honestly don't think about it that much, because it's really very easy to let numbers go to your head, and that, like, they start controlling your life. Now, there is a little line graph in the analytics for YouTube, which shows you your subscriber growth and how it goes up and down like that, from day to day. And there was a time last year where I was just fixed on that number. I could not get away from it, and if something changed, it would affect my mood. I'm happy to say since then I've kind of come away from it a bit, but the point I'm trying to make is that having a channel kind of increase this much, it makes you search for patterns and reasoning as to why it happens. In reality, it's just that one video strikes a chord with people, bonk, another bonk there, or one video doesn't. But then you start looking deeper, you start looking for reasons for that, and that can get really, really quite unhealthy very quickly. But at the same time, of course, I'm incredibly humbled that so many people still want to watch me drive mediocrely. Average driving, there you go, Christ. People want to watch me do that. That's such a cool feeling. I wake up each day thinking, oh man, like, what am I going to do today? What's going to be the fun thing that I do today? Hopefully not crash at Targa Florio, not the barrier. Oh, that could have been terrible. And waking up today and thinking, right, I'm going to make that Targa Florio video. I was just excited. I was like, yes, I'm really looking forward to driving around, just having a fun drive, chatting away. That's very, I don't know, it's a good life. Crunch. It's a good life, and I'm very thankful for it. And of course, you guys make that happen. Having the support, the ratio of likes to dislikes on an average video is crazy. Usually, you get 1% dislikes and 99% likes, or 98 to 2%, something like that, which is insane. Like, I have no idea why or how I've managed that. I guess I just have a really nice community who are willing to show me that love when I think I deserve it, which is, yeah. How do you get around that? I mean, I remember... Oh, getting into some hairpins now. I remember back when I was happy for a video to get 2,000 views in 24 hours. That was like a big achievement for me. In fact, I think the first video that did that was me running some cars in GTR 2, like 64 cars, and just having some fun with it. That's kind of where I first discovered my formula, of really just enjoying things and driving cars that I wanted to drive instead of driving a car that I know I dislike and then complain about it. But I mean, nowadays, it's on average a video will get in 24 hours around 40,000 views. That's 20 times what I had before, which is, again, just a number you don't really get used to. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say after that long ramble is thank you for that. Thank you for keeping this my job. It's sometimes it does feel like a job. Sometimes. Not them though. Or them. Am I running the stock sounds? I don't even know. It sounds too good to be Assetto Corsa. Sorry, Assetto Corsa. It sounds kind of average. I mean, yeah, like I said, sometimes it feels like a job when you're doing emails and trying to sort things and you're building stuff and you're, oh god, crunching into the barrier, and sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh god, I don't feel very entertaining today, you know. But that's definitely the minority. The vast majority of the time I spend on YouTube is just time enjoyed, and I'm really glad for that, because it's, as I said before, it's very easy to get into a rhythm of just being obsessed with numbers and analytics and stuff like that. And whilst I think if I did that, I think there'll be room for me to grow a bit more than I have if I was willing to sacrifice some of my integrity, I suppose, and be a little bit more clickbaity, all that kind of stuff. And to be fair, like, I said my titles are more sensationalist than clickbaity, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But I don't think I'd enjoy that, and I don't think people would enjoy me. I've always said with sim racing and YouTube that my goal is to just meet people and get to be part of communities, you know, and I think that in that goal I've succeeded, and I'm really happy with that, and I get to talk to so many awesome people about all their experiences with sim racing, you know, getting real drivers speak to me about sims and how they think they are compared to real life, getting the opportunity to go across the world to do all these crazy things at Gran Turismo as I just ramp up there. It's all been just a one continuous stream that keeps getting better and better, and I'm kind of waiting for it to stop almost. That's a very negative outlook, I suppose, but that's what it is. But anyway, enough about me. Thank you again so much for all making the 200k possible, and hopefully hopefully we'll keep going. I guess I guess 300k the next goal, I suppose, or 250,000, which is a bit closer. 250,000 subscribers. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of damage. I suppose I should sort of go back to the driving now, but you can kind of see that doing this kind of driving, you're kind of just trying to perceive what's coming up, trying to anticipate the road. I kind of know where we are. I kind of know the rhythm of this road. That's why I've only crashed a couple of times. Should be a second there, but I'll get over it. Not used too much fuel so far. Used nearly a quarter of a tank. Nearly. So that should be good for us. Oh, that's a hairpin, isn't it? Yeet it in. Yes! Yes, old brake. Just stop me. Good brakes. There you go. And I would recommend, by the way, I mentioned him at the start, I would recommend checking out my buddy Mr. John Baccio. He's lapped many cars around here. His knowledge of this track is insane. I think just because Baccio is one of the people that I was very fortunate to meet early on in my sim racing career, I suppose. Part of the Stroll group, and he's the kind of guy that likes giving himself difficult projects, and this was one of them. It was to learn Targa Florio and then just lap cars around here. I'm pretty sure he's lapped nearly every historic car from the RF1 model around here, and done so well. I'll put a link in my description to his channel if you want to watch it. Oh god, that's a corner there. Oh, I got bonked. I got completely debated there by the road. Couldn't anticipate that, could I? Christ, well done, Jimmy. Fifth gear there somewhere. Third gear even. Now up to fourth. You can kind of see where this road's going here, so you tip it in a bit, hit the wall for good measure. I like how I was going to talk you through like I was some sort of professional driver and then just crash instantly. That's pretty much my channel in a nutshell. I've got to say, I'm very glad I picked this car for this. And it's a little bit leery at the back, but that's kind of part of the charm. There you go. It sounds great. Take it all the way up past 8,000 RPM and then hit the brakes and panic as you realise you're going too fast. The Porsche experience. I suppose I'd also like to tell you about my plans for this year, if you've got this far in the video. Although it's a bit rambly. I mean, usually I don't share plans because I kind of don't like the idea of them not coming to fruition, despite me sharing them, and then it's kind of this anticlimactic thing. But I can go over a couple of them, I guess. The big plan, as a lot of you might already know, because I've kind of mentioned it on the stream, is to try and do some real life racing, try and get into something. Been looking at a couple of options, be it maybe even kart 100 or very basic level hatch racing, saxos, stuff like that. Just so I can do it. I want to do it. You know, ow. I'm at this point in my life now where I have the opportunity to make these things happen at the moment, and I'd kill myself if I went, no, I'll do it next year, or I'll just hit a wall instead. But you know, I'd kill myself if I went, oh no, let's just leave it and do it another year, and then not have that opportunity come up again. So hopefully I can, and the plan is also to film the content. The idea, the big plan, and if everything went okay and went fantastically, would be to do like have a cameraman similar to the McLaren video. In fact, it would be the same cameraman if all things go well, and we just record the experience, the highs and the lows, and let you know what it's like for a sim racer to transition into real life racing. And you know, if any of this helped, if it does anything, if it's good, you know, I'm fairly confident, given the McLaren drive, that my sim racing experience would help, and it would give me not an advantage, but a good, like a running start, so to speak. For the real life stuff. Of course, real life stuff, you have to think about things like mechanical sympathy and how much everything costs when you bash into walls like I am every 2 seconds. But I would love to give it a go and love to document that for you guys and bring it to you as like a series almost, and take you on the journey with me. Because that's what this channel is about, you know. It's about sharing the passion and the driving and the... You know, I'm sitting here giggling about fake race car noises because it sounds, to me, it sounds real. It sounds like it's almost there, you know. And then you kind of find yourself transported into that wall and also into this car. And that's what sim racing is. It's a way to live out those fantasies of being a racing driver. So actually going from that fantasy to the real thing and then documenting it and sharing it, I think would be, firstly, a fantastic experience. Yeah, there, Jimmy. For myself, I think it'll be something that I'll never forget, and a story that I carry for my life, and also be hopefully really entertaining for you guys. So yeah, that's the main plan. That's taken up a lot of my time at the moment, trying to get people to, oh my god, to sponsor me and get me. And the idea is to go racing and not be substantially out of pocket, because as you know, racing's pretty expensive. But trying to convince people to say, hey, you, I've never done any racing before, neither do I have a racing license at the moment. Can you please sponsor me a car? And usually the answer is, get fucked. As we see the shiny mountain there in the distance. But you get the idea, you know, like, that's taken up a lot of my time. I'm also wanting to do a lot more stuff like Gran Turismo Sport. I think it's because I played it a bit when I was doing the events. I actually quite enjoy playing it. I mean, sure, it's not as close to the PC games in terms of raw simulation, but I just love the idea of racing it and having an online system outside of iRacing where you can get regular races with a safety system in place. I mean, again, not perfect, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. That's why the second rig has been built. If you don't know about that, then go to my Twitter or my Instagram, and you can see the progress there. But they're pretty much almost done now. All I need, I've got the PC, I've got the rig built, I've got a wheel on there. I just need to tie everything down and get some power and some internet in there, and then we're done. It's basically been built in a second shed. Shed 2 Electric Boogaloo has been confirmed. God, my life is just a series of sheds. Oh, that could be worse, couldn't it? So the plan is to get into that. I'll probably do some of the FIA stuff, but probably not to the point where I qualify or anything. One, because I don't think I can, and two, because, well, you'll find out. Easy through this section. See, I know I'm not driving particularly well right now, but that's not really what Targa Florio is about for me. It's just about... it's about that. It's about a second to third gear change with confidence and with a smile on your face. That's what Targa Florio is about when you're driving it as someone with zero knowledge of the track. Although I'm glad that I haven't gone over the edge yet. If I go over the edge now, it will be a restart of a lap. And so far we are 35 minutes into this recording, including introduction, etc. So I'd rather not do that. I say rather not do that than I just tempt fate by smashing it in first gear and banging it against the rev limiter. Why not? Why not? Easy. Second gear. I'm kind of glad this car doesn't have too much power. I think I find myself dying very often. I almost drove this in the GT40. I almost went in the GT40, but then I kind of changed my mind at the last second just because it's a bit more powerful than this is, and I wanted a car that would be a little bit more predictable. Why do I always talk about the car being predictable, then just crunch it in the next corner? It's a talent that I seem to have at the moment. Oh god. Jimmy, stop. Yeah, I also want to continue in things like iRacing. I've been really enjoying doing the LMP1 series. I know I've been doing it a lot. It's because I enjoy driving that car. You know, I think it's the car that I'm most competitive in across any sim, and I'm still nowhere near the best, and I don't think I have the talent to be anywhere near that. But you know, the other day I got to race against Patrick Wolf, and although he eventually pulled away from me, I got to go toe to toe with him and fight him for a couple of corners. And oh no, off we go. Oh no, we don't. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Describes how he thinks he's improved in sim racing, then nearly dies. Should I just stop? Should I just stop? Maybe I should. Maybe I should. But the point I was trying to make is, like, you know, I've never ever said that I'm a decent sim racer, you know, in terms of skill. I never will, because I believe I'm okay. I always say I think I'm in the top 15-20%. But you know, there's a big difference between the top 15% and the top 2 or 3%. You know, there's a big difference there. The graph just like increases exponentially. But you know, I won a couple of races this year or last year in ILMS and in ELMS as well, which has been really damn cool. Not really used to winning races, especially at that level, so that's been very rewarding. So I want to do more of that. I would like to get into some more series in iRacing. The problem is, I mean, the series that I want to run the most is IMSA in the highest class, but I don't want to drive the DP. I want to drive a DPI. iRacing, please, keep DPI instead of more GTEs and random tracks. That would be nice. Not selfish request at all, not at all. Not this guy. Easy peasy, there you go. But the thing that I want to try and maintain for all of these things, for all these ideas and all these really cool opportunities of maybe getting to do real life things and drive real cars and do more real life content, which I really want to do, because sometimes living in the shed with fake race cars isn't great. It isn't as good as real race cars, unfortunately. I want to do more. I want to keep doing both, because I love both, but you know, I do want to do more of the real stuff. But even through all of that, I want to still remain somewhat accessible. To be completely honest, I get, like, you know, 3 or 4 messages a day now from people asking me how I am. You know, just these people I've never talked to before. You know, asking me for things about rig recommendations. What sim should I buy? Can I be part of your team? That kind of stuff. And I ignore a lot of those, not because I think that I'm above people and it's okay to ignore them. It's because I don't have the time to write out the same answer again and again. And you know, a lot of information that people ask me is information that you can get anywhere online. They just want to ask me for it, because I guess they trust me for some reason. I'm not a hardware reviewer. I never have been, never will be. Probably better to ask somebody else, I think. But you know, I also get messages, again, nearly every day, saying how much the channel has helped people, how much of an influence it's had in terms of getting people into sim racing and driving, and how much they're enjoying it now, and thanks. And I wish I could respond to all those. I wish I could, and I tried to respond to as many as possible, but I do miss some. And I apologise for that. I wish I could do more for that, but my goal is to still try and remain accessible. Like, if you really need to talk to me about something, then you can. I'm gonna reply, you know. There's just some things that maybe there are other people that are better to talk to. Oh god. One thing that I never want to be as a YouTuber is one of these plebs that puts them up on a pedestal, you know, and goes, "Hi, my name is man who does YouTube, and by fortune I've got now a following on this website that could disappear tomorrow, meaning my following and fame would be useless. I'm more important than you, blah, 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 blah." Like, those kind of people, they make me ill, actually. I get a bit sick thinking about them. I never want to be one of those people. And if I ever become one of these big-headed twats who thinks that he knows best because he has a following, then just fucking unsubscribe, man. Get out of there. Tell me I'm an idiot. Get out of there. I understand, of course, that I do have my own opinions, but they're just opinions that I have. But opinions based on ego is something that I want to wholeheartedly avoid. You see people like that sometimes in the sim racing community as well, and you just try and avoid those people because they aren't worth it. Not worth. Anyway, enough of that. Back to driving. So we're down to a quarter tank of fuel. I think we're about maybe halfway done, maybe 2/3 of the way done. So we're coming up to the second village now, the second town, or a second just wall of blocks, I suppose, here. I kind of remember this. I remember this area because I remember my friend spinning here once, and I think it was my friend Anders. We were driving through here in Alphas, and he spun coming into here. I think it was this corner actually. This one's tight, is it? You see, I have a very faint memory of what's going on. But again, can you imagine these houses just being lined with people watching or in their room, and you're coming through here at these crazy speeds? No, it was this corner he spun at, and I almost did the same. But can you imagine that? That just can't exist today. I mean, you get some of that sometimes in rallying, but even then, you know, that's heavily policed. This was just, hey guys, there's going to be a race here tomorrow. Probably don't go out in your car. And of course, the reason why this event stopped in the end was, well, as you can probably guess, safety, fatalities. I think someone died at the end of a long straight, and also someone also died hitting a spectator. I think the spectator died, actually. And again, as I said at this kind of beginning of the video, you understand why this race can't happen anymore, but you almost wish it could. But my driving hasn't been great around here, has it? It doesn't really matter. I don't think that's the point of this. Oh, yes. You see the road ahead? Can we open her up a little bit? No, that's tight enough, what it was. The rear end of this thing dancing around. There's a possibility that the rear tyres are getting a little bit worn. Tyre wear is on. I've been sliding a bit. That's something else I have to say. I'm not really used to talking for this long. I can feel my throat starting to get a little bit sore. Doesn't bode well for me in the future, does it? There you go. Very nice. Very nice. There you go. Again, you can just see the road just snaking in front of you, and you use those kind of cues to go, right, I can go a bit quicker for this next section. You know, I'm definitely not pushing it, as you can tell by the fact that I keep bonking the barrier as if on cue, and definitely not trying to go very quick. But I just can't imagine keeping your concentration and knowing the full layout of this circuit and just having it in your head. People tell it to me about the Nordschleife, and I can kind of understand that. Although I'd say that the lesson that I had for learning it would be very similar to what you do around here. You just break it up into sections. I think maybe Project Cars has that. I'm not sure. Someone can correct me in the comments where you can break up the track into sections. I know that Ride Free has it, which isn't really a car sim, but you get the idea. You can see how how it changes. For me, there are 3 sections to that circuit. The first one, which goes down to Ardenal Forst, I think it is, before you start going downhill. I forget what that part of the track is called. Second section ends when you get to the carousel, and the first section is the rest of the track. Oh god, that was nearly dead. And once you learn those sections, that's kind of like 3 long laps, really, or 3 normal laps in a racing car. So You get used to the rest after that. Oh, second crunch coming up. Oh my God, Jimmy. Starting to get a little bit relaxed now. Relax isn't too good in this thing. This poor blue, beautiful Porsche. I've destroyed it, the poor thing. Easy now. There you go. Very cool. Alright. You know what? I remember saying this in my last ramble I did around this circuit all those years ago. But there is something about just driving the car. I'm not driving it fast. I'm not driving it particularly well. Let's all be real here. But there's just something in driving around these windy Italian roads in a simulated, of course, Porsche 911 RSR 3 litre, and just enjoying every second to third gear, and then the fourth every now and then before you heel toe back down to third. There's just something very therapeutic about it, and I can see why people would drive round here and not drive quickly. Of course, I think in the end that my inner boy racer would appear and just end up started ragging the thing around here. I'm not really going particularly slow right now, or particularly fast. Gear there, Jimmy. Didn't spin though. Didn't spin. It's just a certain allure to it, I think. I used to say to myself that I think I'm more of a driver than a racer. I don't know if that's still the same now. Definitely a bit more competitive than I used to be. But I would love to do like a road rally around here in Targa, where you go, right, okay, you get a lap of practice, 1 lap or 2 laps of practice or something like that, and then you get a timed lap, and you do it like in the style of how Targa was done. You stagger it, so every minute someone goes off. That'd be a really fun race. I think someone's tried to organise something like that before. I have no idea how that would work out nowadays. But yeah, 2 laps of practice, that's an hour, pretty much. Crunch. You have damage off, just so people can get round, you know. Yeah, fuel and tyre wear on. And you just let people go at it and see how they do. That'd be a really fun experience, I think. Maybe I'll try and set something like that up in the future when this track is a bit more developed. Oh my God, Jimmy, I've hit like every feckin' wall. Come on, better now. No more wall hitting. You got to stay on the throttle through there. Oh, the car will just try and loop round. It's kind of the weird thing with this Porsche. You've got to keep some throttle on. You can't get off. You can't let it know it's beat you. Now into the town again. Between the curbs, which are very tall here. I have no idea where this track goes. I can't see. Are we going straight on? Okay, I guess we are. No, we're not. We're going to the left. I'm going up here. See ya! I wanted to go see my mate, but I ruined it instead. This is kind of the downside to there not being any trackside objects. There'll probably be like a barrier there or something. But I'm like, nah, I'm gonna yeet it through. Ends up going to someone else's house. Soz. I can see it. There's a barrier. I can see that. That'll do. Now, I'm pretty sure we're in the last third of the lap now. I'm fairly sure we are. Again, I'm also fairly sure that Mr. Bacho's screaming at his monitor every mistake I make, which is fair. I am terrible. There you go. Very nice. But at the end of this lap, it's an absolutely massive straight. I mean, we're going to hit our limiter very, very soon down here because my car isn't geared for anything else. I think it's the first time I actually hit 5th. We aren't there yet though, although we're getting there. The track kind of opens up a little bit before you get there, then tightens again, and then just lets you go. I don't think this is it. Is this it? Okay, I'm waiting for the bit where it's not it. Maybe it is. Regardless. Thing sounds good in the 4th to 5th transition, eh? Gonna hit about 250 k's down this straight and hope not to hit something. If only there were a train now to race. Top of 5th gear, 260 k's nearly, and we're in the limiter. So now I'm just waiting really to try and find where the braking point is. See how long this straight. Imagine you're in a 512, you're coming down here. You're probably doing 200 mile an hour down here on a public road. And the car feels fairly solid in a straight line. It's not bouncing around too much. I have no idea where to brake. So I'm probably going to brake entirely too early or entirely too late. Either one is going to be pretty bad. There needs to be a bigger brake here marker. And I want to say this is probably it. Luckily we aren't going too fast, so I can maybe slow it down fairly quickly. There you go. That wasn't too bad. Maybe you can brake at the start of the barrier if you're feeling very energetic in this car. Not far away from the end at all now, lads. Not far away at all. Probably about another minute or so, and that'll be a lap of Targa Florio. I'm not really sure what the lap time is going to be, because I have no timing on my screen apart from that down the bottom right, which I'm not sure is really working. But we can time off the video and I'll pop it on screen if that's the case. A couple more corners now. 5th gear through here. See the barrier coming up, so I go down to 3rd gear. Left foot brake. You go between left foot and right foot braking this thing. It's a real joy when you get it right. Which is very rare on a circuit you just do not know. There you go. That's nice through there. Gotta go for the drag shift. There you go. How to Destroy a Gearbox by Jimmy Broadbent. I do wish that AC had a bit more mechanical damage in it. Although saying that, it's probably one of the best sims for it. Oh, a stutter there. Easy. Easy now. Oh, Jimmy. There you go. Didn't even hit anything. You know what? We've barely even used a half tank of fuel. We could probably do another lap if you wanted to. I'm not going to, for crying out loud, but you probably can. Oh no. Oh, that's a wall. No, we're good. Not too far now. I think I was a bit overzealous in my 1 minute left calculation, but we aren't too far off that. I remember this section being the last section of the track from back in the day. You can even see the starting arena up there. There it is. There is the pit lane on the right where we started. There's a couple more corners to go, and that'll be 1 lap of Targa Florio completed. Florio, I should say. I keep saying Florio. They are across the line. We're coming up to it anyway. Keep it pinned. Throw it in. Hit the wall for good measure. And that was apparently a 56.49. Of course, that includes the fact that I was sitting in the pit for a while, so it wasn't quite an hour lap. I can tell you that now, but I'll put the real or an approximation of the time on screen now so you guys can see it. But that was 1 lap of Targa Florio. This car did 10 more of those in a day, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and this insight to what I think is the hardest track in sim racing. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, because it's going to take me a long time to process this and upload it. So of course, an appreciation for my efforts is always appreciated from me, if you enjoy it anyway. If you really enjoy the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well and tickle that little bell, because that way you might actually get notified of when I post videos and streams. You know, good old YouTube. Massive thank you to everyone who made 200,000 subscribers a thing on my channel. I know I've said it a lot, but I never ever thought I'd get this far. And I'm now just excited to see where it goes, and more excited like to share that journey with you fine people. Anyway, take care, have an awesome day, and I'll see you all next time.